Yo, what's going on YouTube? It is your boy GZTV back with another video, and today we are going to talk about The Sopranos. I know I was supposed to do a movie review. I was going to do the Gremlins movie from like the 80s. Pretty big part of my childhood, honestly, but you know what? We got shit to do in school. We don't have a lot of time on our hands. So here we are with The Sopranos. If I need to do that again tonight, I don't think I will, but if I need to, I will probably do that. So yeah, it's the 57th episode, the 5th of the 5th season, so getting close to kind of that halfway mark in the 5th season. Irregular around the margins. So yeah, we're going to talk about what happened. Not too much happened. I mean, we got a new character or two, but that's really about it. I don't know how they keep introducing new characters. I guess there's a whole bunch of families and stuff, but yeah, let's get into it. So getting into kind of what happens, Tony has a mole removed, later determined to be a squamous skin cancer. It's like a really insignificant thing. I mean, obviously, if you would have left it for too long, it would have turned into a cancer, and he probably would have faced a life or death situation. But yeah, obviously, if you notice a mole, and moles are, yeah, if you have a mole, I mean, try to get it removed, I guess, is what you learn here. Yeah, I'm already charging my scooter. I set a reminder for that because my scooter was actually kind of dying. But Tony spends more time so Adrianna is being treated for irritable bowel syndrome caused by stress. It's kind of funny. It's like a mix of the words irritable around the margins. So yeah, she has really bad stomach problems, and they say it's a psychological thing. They say she needs to relieve some stress. So Tony spends more time at her club, and with Christopher traveling to North Carolina on a cigarette smuggling job, is alone with her in her office. Things get kind of awkward. Things are getting weird. I don't like how Tony Soprano acted. I don't like how he handled situations in this episode at all. This is one of those episodes, one of the very few where I'm like, okay, Tony, what the fuck are you doing? Like, come on. So the two bond over recent problems and snort cocaine together. I mean, this isn't really that romantic at the start. Like, they actually have friendly conversations. They have genuine experiences they want to share with each other, just because they have no one else to really talk to at the moment. So the mood becomes intimate. They nearly kiss, but are interrupted by the guys out of New York. The incident compels Tony to resume his psychiatric therapy. Like, he has to talk to someone about this. This is really bad. Again, he was talking before about cheating on his ex-wife with, the mistress and all that stuff, the Russian people. But yeah, he tells Dr. Melfi that a relationship with Adrianna could lead to problems with both Chris and Carmela. Carmela could see this, and they're trying to kind of wreck it. Like, Tony kind of wants to get back with her, but if she sees he's doing stuff like this, she's going to be discouraged from doing that. And obviously Chris is going to be pissed. There's not much he can do. Obviously Tony's a boss. It's not like he's... But yeah, Chris is going to lash out. We get a bit of foreshadowing here. So Melfi convinced Tony not taking an action that would have harmful consequences, calling it a breakthrough in his therapy. He took a break, took some advice possibly from their last sessions, came back, and actually used it for once. So that was really cool of her to see, I guess. So late at night, on the eve of Chris's return, Tony and Adrianna drive to Dover to buy cocaine. She has some sort of plug over there or something. Tony swerves to avoid a fucking raccoon. Really? To avoid a raccoon. This is what causes the crash. And his SUV flips over the driver's side. Flips over to the driver's side, which I don't know how he didn't, get seriously injured. I guess it's just the plot convenience of having a mob boss in your show. So Tony is released from the hospital unhurt. Adrianna is bruised and has a head injury, even though she was on the other side of the fucking vehicle. Tony suggests a cover story to explain why they were alone together in the early morning. They were going to get something to eat. They just left the club late at night. She didn't have a car, obviously. I'm sure Christopher knows this. And they just wanted to get a bite to eat before he took her home. However, Tony's crew and their associates play an unintentional game of telephone with the story of the accident. And it's kind of funny. You kind of get a montage of people saying, oh, she sucked his dick, all this stuff. The details get more elaborate and lurid with each retelling. The final version is that Adrianna was filleting Tony when the accident occurred. Giving head, pretty much. I know that's bad to say on YouTube, but you get me. So Chris learns of the accident from his crew upon his return from North Carolina and quickly becomes suspicious. He's like, why? Like, he wants to give Tony the benefit of the doubt because, again, or one, he's his boss, and two, he's pretty much a father to him. So yeah, he's like, they were in the car alone. That's kind of weird, but I'll let it off for now. But as Satriales, he loses his temper and nearly starts a fight with Vito, who is now a capo, a captain. They have promoted him. So at a face-to-face meeting, Tony turns the conversation against Chris, saying that Chris does not deserve a woman as good-looking as Adriana. Like, what a fucking dick. Like, Tony is actually, like, a piece of shit for that. Like, I in no way support him saying shit like that. Like, that's really, really bad, honestly. I don't know. It was kind of annoying to hear him say something like that after he was in the car with Chris's fiance. What is he supposed to think about that? So Tony swears on his children that the rumors of their affair are untrue. They really aren't. Like, we didn't see them do anything. So at least Tony's, like, not lying. But then again, you could have handled this a little better. So at home, Adriana admits to Chris that she and Tony were going to see her drug dealer, but insists that nothing happened between them. And Chris, this kind of confirms his suspicions to an extent, because now he's like, okay, they probably would have done something after had they have gotten the drugs. Chris batters her and physically throws her out. He then relapses with a bottle of vodka. And that's something I didn't really understand the extent of it. First I was like, okay, he's drinking alcohol, he's in a fit of rage, but it's like, oh, he's relapsing. Like, that's a pretty fucking big deal for his character. A drunken Chris arrives at the Bing and empties his pistol into Tony's car, like flattens his tires, shoots out his windows, does all that stuff. He enters the club shouting threats to Tony and brandishing the empty gun, but is easily overpowered. Obviously, there's security all over the Bing. They got to protect the boss. Tony is one of the most important people in New Jersey. So, Tony and the crew drive him to the Meadowlands, where Tony prepares to execute him if he doesn't acknowledge that nothing happened between Tony and Adriana. Which, again, you're an asshole. Like, I know the Mafia is super intense, I know you have to follow their customs, but why the fuck are you threatening to shoot your nephew because he got pissed that Adriana might have had an affair with you? You know, like, why? Why would you threaten to kill him over that? I don't know. So Tony B brings up a really good suggestion, though. He's kind of the neutralizer of the situation. Kind of thankful for a character like that in the show. So at his suggestion, Chris is taken to the hospital who treated Tony and Adriana on the night of the accident, which is kind of fucked up because it's going to remind him of some things. Though they are threatening him, the doctor freely acknowledges that Adriana's injuries show that she was wearing her seatbelt and sitting upright when the accident occurs. That's kind of like an interesting kind of revelation, and that's kind of an interesting, unique way to find out that she wasn't cheating. I don't know. So Chris appears to be placated, but says that he feels like a laughingstock. Like, he's like, okay, I believe you, but at the same time, everyone's going to make a fool out of me, like, every time they see me. So, then again, Agent Sanseverino believes the final version of the story of Adriana and Tony, and they're kind of gossiping about it in the FBI. Meeting in a car, she tells Adriana she wants to exploit the supposed relationship by planting listening devices in her club. This infuriates Adriana, who moves to go. As she's leaving, Sanseverino tries to warn her that by staying with Chris, she is protecting her abuser, and there's like a syndrome for that. It's a very toxic thing. I don't know. It's really weird. So Tony convinces Carmela that there is nothing between him and Adriana. Obviously, word is getting around, so Carmela as well is hearing all these stories. In a show of unity, Tony and Carmela, Chris and Adriana, and Tony B and Quintina Blondetto dine at Nuovo Vesuvio, where most of Tony's crew are eating at other tables, and again, they're gossiping, they're sitting there kind of discussing the situation. So, yeah. So Vito approaches them and shakes Chris's hand, wishing him a pleasant evening, resolving the tension between them so they kind of reconcile. He threw a fucking sandwich at you, like, really? Like, let's not act like children here. But yeah, we get some new characters. We get Frankie Cortese, who is a soldier in the Soprano family. He is one of the two bodyguards who subdued Christopher, who when he comes into the bottom Bing to confront Tony. So again, we're just meeting some other soldiers. And then we get Jason Molinaro, who's a member of the April crew. I know I kind of went fast with that, but then again, we are 9 minutes into this. So I don't really have much to say. I think it's going to be really interesting to see the awkward tension between guys like Tony, guys like Christopher, guys like Adriana. Like that whole love circle is going to kind of go wild. And it's actually kind of nice to see Tony revamp his relationship with Dr. Melfi. I never said she wasn't going to be a part of the show anymore, so I guess I assumed that there was going to be some returns there. But yeah, I don't really have much to say. Leave a like, comment, subscribe. I think this was a pretty quality episode, to be honest with you. So yeah, not bad. Season again. I heard a clean talk about it in the last review. It's nice that they're returning back to the kind of mobster shit, the more intense stuff. You know, killing someone, threatening to kill someone over shit. As foolish as it was in Tony's case, I think it was really intense and made for a really fun watching experience, really entertaining. So, yeah, I'm out. You guys are going to get a recap tonight if there's any good basketball games. Peace.